Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala nabiyyina wa habibina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu jami'an ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaba bik. في هذه في هذه اللقاء يعني for tonight this meeting I really want to talk about يعني في مناقشة يعني discussion. um, I want to discuss a little bit today about reconstructing the black community. um, Given a lot of thoughts this week, doing my typical research, analyzing, sitting back and thinking. Now, I want to speak about it is that the black American needs a new reconstruction. Some might say to what level, or to what aspect, or to what religious values or moral values. But I want to talk just in general that there needs to be a reconstruction in the black community. Unfortunately, in the black community, we see currently through different scenarios and court cases and situations dealing with systemic racism that many blacks are still talking and looking for answers to the racist issue in America. The answers we are looking for, we're looking from the wrong peoples. We're looking for the government to answer our, to bring the solutions. And if anybody knows, if anybody ever been in a fight, or a fighter, or professional or amateur fighter, when you in a real fight in a life threat situation, and you feel that you're going to lose the battle, you don't ask the person who is assaulting you, you don't ask them, or you don't hope that they have mercy on you. Rather yet, you're fighting for your life. So the one who is oppressing you, you don't ask for them to give you mercy. You don't ask your component, well, the next few blows, make sure they're not deadly or don't kill me. You fight as hard as you can for your life. So when we look deep into the black community and the reconstruction that is needed, you'll never get the solutions from Caucasian or the government. The government represents white power to the highest level. And unfortunately, many blacks in America, our political understanding of what is white supremacy or white power, we limit to thinking that white supremacy is only skinheads, Nazis, and KKK. Well, because we are politically ignorant, we really don't understand the whole situation. The government is the head of the white nationalist movement. And all you need to do is look at American's Constitution pertaining to when it was first developed. It was never developed to protect American citizens, but only white males. All right. So you can see by the intention, by the first Constitution, it never intended black peoples, because we were just property. We were slaves as property. White nationalism at its best, white supremacist at its best, white colonialism at its best. So in blacks reconstructing, you will never get the answer from the government to how to help you. The government knows the answers, because they are the one who are they are the perpetrators. They are the one inflicting the harm through its legal system. They harm or systemically harm. systemically put in the system to prevent you from having growth or development. So you can't depend on the government for the solutions. And I'm going to break it down a scenario in my best, easiest way to explain it. You looking for the government for help, the one who is your oppressor, the one you are fighting against, is like the white man giving you the solution. It's like the government cutting its own neck. It will never hang itself. It's not looking to hang itself. So it never give you the solutions. Because the solution basically will have the government recognize or realize equality for blacks mean sharing power. And they don't want to share power. Especially with what they consider to be the minority. Especially they don't want to share power with those who they inflicted for hundreds of years persecution and oppression. Physical oppression, morally oppression, financial oppression, and spiritual oppression. So they will not give you the solution because it's be hanging themselves. And they know that any black person who's black conscious, as soon as they get some power, that the first thing they will do is retaliate. Why you think the government spilled millions of dollars building prisons? Why you think the government spends millions of dollars on prison system and putting most of its population, in particular who are black, in the prison system? Because they're not trying to share power with you. They're trying to keep you behind, and they set the rules. So back to in the reconstruction of the black community is that the only way you're going to get a reconstruction of the black community, it must come from self. I was looking at today and yesterday the new mayor of New York, who is actually black African American, who just recently came back from Ghana. And he said he went to visit Ghana to get connection with his African roots. And then he mentioned on his return back that he's going to reinstate, when he takes office after January, he's going to reinstate stop and frisk, which the court system agreed that it was violating the civil rights of African American, right? It was violating the rights of African Americans, and it was incarcerating and locking up and violating and searching blacks intentionally, which was against their civil rights. And then the mayor, who will get elected by blacks, say he's going to reinstate these practices that the government say, the courts say, goes against people's civil rights. What is the point of this? Even as a black person who had a career as a police, that once he's in power, he's just doing the work of the system. He's just doing the work of the system, right? And the system is designed to keep blacks at a certain place, in a certain predicament. If we look about the restructuring of the blacks, we have to say it can't come from government and it must come from self. Because even as a black person who gets elected in these type of positions, that they had to serve their master. They have to serve their masters. So in Reconstruction, blacks have to realize the ones to answer their problems, self here. Starts with ourselves first. The one to fix the problem in the black community, its reconstruction, it must be first coming from self. Now, at some of the complaints that African Americans have, that a lot of those problems in the African American community that we say that are results of systemic racism, the effects of it on the African American community, the effects of it on the African American psyche, the effects of it on the African American financial situation, the effects of it on the African American family, then the one to bring the solution must be self. It must come from black peoples. And blacks then will have to turn around and say to themselves, hey man, we need to have a code of ethics. We have to understand how to work as a group. Now, if black people, we don't understand how to work as a group, and neither are we in the position or want to be in the position to solve our own problems and work as a group, and you keep on looking for the government to solve your problem, then you're going to get more misery and more problems. And I gave you the example of somebody who was African American in New York, elected as the mayor of New York, who recently just came back from Ghana and said he went there to see his roots in Africa. And as soon as he got back, he said as soon as he take office in January, he's going to implement something with the police, which is called stop and frisk. Well, the federal judge said it goes against people's civil rights, black civil rights. The black guy who just came back from Ghana said he's going to implement something that put a lot of black people in prison, incarcerated, and harassed by police because their skin is black. He's the guy who says he just came back from Ghana to see his roots. He's going to come back and he's implementing things that's harmful on blacks. So you can't look for the government for help, even when the person inside the government look like you, because he must enforce these systemic racist things. American Constitution, American law, everything about American government is designed to fight and destroy black peoples. It's to keep the white man in power, and those who are his assistants, his subordinates, is to support them, to supporting their white supremacy, and whoever is a threat to them in this country, then they will keep them at bay. We must reform our thinking as blacks. We have done it all already. Almost all. We challenged the legal system. People fought for civil rights. Black people died for civil rights. White people even died for black people for civil rights. And at the end of the day, after the civil rights movement in the 60s, what do we have for show for now? We still have overcrowded prison with blacks, males, the majority, or the majority of the blacks in the community are the males are incarcerated at a high proportion. Still have single female household, no male father role models. We have the lack in education. We have a lack in unemployment. We have all these issues in our community. And then on top of that, all of the social and psychological stuff that come with it, we have all this baggage. All this is the government. The government knows how to fight. So you can't go to these peoples for help. Now, if you want a true reconstruction for the blacks, it must start with self. It must be here first. It must be here. Self, it must be in here first. If it's not in here, and we don't work to change the thinking of blacks, then we will forever be in that cycle of systemic racism. Only thing new will come to the systemic racism in America from the government is just their new tactics. New tactics from the racist, open racist Republicans, and this new tactics from the racist Democrats who come as we want inclusion and we're for diversity. They just come with new tactics to put black people in the further condition, or to remain in the condition they are in, and only let the selected of them out of the condition, just to make just to show inclusion. But the same black person, he's going to turn around and work with the whites to fight blacks. So why you need the reconstruction? First thing, with reconstruction of the black community, you must focus first on self. First here, you have to reconstruct the mind of individuals, and reconstruct the mind for them to be aware of the system, but to be aware of what they are going through, what they are facing. Black, we have the least when it comes to working together as groups. But even around us, you have to show our peoples. Everybody around us, everything in this society around us that's non-black, they're working in groups, from corporations, from different nationalities, working as a group in community, and forming corporations, and making organizations. Forming corporations, forming organizations, forming communities, forming wealth, collecting wealth as a group. And then when you look and observe these peoples who are doing this from other nationality, one thing you will notice that they have that we don't have, they understand how to work together as a group, as a race. And they understand this, and they have a love for their fellow kinsmen from their country or from their nationality. But when it comes to blacks, it's not the same thing, because we've been programmed that way through school, through learning in school. You've been programmed to work individually. But those in power and those who have wealth, they're not working individually. They're working collectively as a group. What do you think a corporation is working as a group, making money. So we must start having these reflecting. How are you going to get this type of understanding with blacks? Well, you're not going to get it in public school, unfortunately. Even in the black communities, you're not going to get it in the public school. And if they do get it in the public school, that's somewhat the people's or the administration, the teachers are somewhat black conscious. It's not going to be part of the curriculum. It's going to be some extra activity. And a child understand, or a youth will understand, well, if it's extra curriculum, then I don't really have to focus on understand it, because it's not mandatory to pass this level or to pass this grade. So we have to look deeper into the issue. Where we're going to get this collective understanding as working together as blacks, then it has to come from individuals. And us as individuals working with other people who are like-minded in the black community. This is how you're going to form the reconstruction. You have to form them. You have to be aware of these things. You have to be taught these things. If we're not taught these things and we're not getting it, then where are we going to go? You're going to go around and circle in systemic racism, and just that the government is going to have new tactics. That's all it is going to do. Only thing that's going to change is the tactics. But the results of their tactics are going to be the same. The attack of the government, the attacking is going to continue. But the strategies are going to change. But the results are going to remain the same. You know, if you go to other countries, I lived in other countries outside the U.S. Everybody in other countries have a consciousness of moving together as a race, either to making money or working together, doing business together. It starts from family. First, you notice it. First, it starts, you see it in their family structure. Then you see it on the next level when it comes to a community structure. Then you see it on another level when you see it when it comes to business level. You see the working together. Matter of fact, we see this in the U.S. But the blacks, we don't watching other blacks do it, but we are witnessing white Europeans doing it. White people are doing it. You think white people made America what it was just based on individualism? No, they work together as a race of peoples. intellectually, financially. They were so conscious of this when they bought free labor, decided to have free labor, slaves in America. They didn't decide to go enslave other Europeans. They didn't even enslave other white Europeans who were uneducated or from a lesser class. They had an understanding that for them to evolve as peoples, that they can't enslave each other because each other has to work together to get to a certain mastery or level. So they enslaved Africans, somebody who's not them. And the African worked for the benefit of the whites. They were the free labor. And they designed laws to make sure that black people stay as slaves and they don't reach the status of whites. Why? Because whites are moving as a race. So we see it on every level. And then black people, we sit here and we won't accept something like what I'm saying as truth. And we won't follow up with this truth and this understanding. But when we see somebody else who comes to this country as a race of peoples, as an ethnic group, come to this country, and they move quicker and accomplish more, being a less time in America, then you turn around and you're going to be saying, "Oh man, how these peoples get this?" It was designed that way, but they work together as a race. And then unfortunately, black people, you paved the way for them. You actually paved the way for these people to come and to make money, to get a better status than you. You paved the way. You fought for civil rights in America. You fought for civil rights. You fought for inclusion. You fought for inclusion to be with whites. You fought this, and the white people, the government turned around and gave you these civil rights named affirmative action. And they took affirmative action and use it to bring in non-blacks into America, those who will serve the purpose of white supremacy. The governments will serve their purpose to keep white peoples in power. You have some Negroes who don't like what I'm talking about, self-hating niggas. I call them you self-hating niggas and coons. That's what you are, a coon. Who will turn around and don't like this, what I'm saying, but they will praise Texas government who turned around and some constitutional rights for women pertaining to abortion, where the Texas government found a loophole to restrict abortions. And then you have some self-hating Negroes who will be upset with what I'm saying, but will turn around and look what Texas government did about abortion, limit the rights, and say that's right, that's correct, that's something they should do. Yeah, Texas is only doing that because they understand that immigrants are outnumbering white peoples, and white people are not reproducing children. The white women under the feminism and the feminist movement don't want to have a lot of children, and they're the number one people aborting their babies. So Texas understood, government, the government in Texas understand, well, white people are existence. We're going to be low in number if we continue to allow these white women to kill onboard their babies. So some Negroes who are coons will turn around and say they don't disagree with what I have to say about the survival of black people, how we have to work together, but will turn around and say, yeah, Texas did the right thing. What about you, Negro? What about you? What about for black peoples? Look at Texas government. They're thinking about the long-term effects of abortion, that it will lower their populations for whites. So what they did, the constitutional law that gave women these rights to abort their babies, they found a loophole in Texas and other states where they could say, no, we're going to limit these rights because the white population is low in the white population is low in numbers. They didn't do this to preserve black peoples. They didn't do this to preserve you. Cause they already have you they already have you in the box. They already have you in the system where your women are jacked up. They already have the system set up for your women to abort their babies, and if they have children, they already have the system set up that you be dysfunctional. So that system, that thing they have in place with the systemic racism, related to the effects of systemic racism through its system, through the government, they already have the system and it's working, and that's why we have the dysfunction. But the white man understands, for him to survive, even though he's bringing immigrants in this country, immigrants who's going to help the cause of the white government, will be their subordinates, not slaves, but their subordinates, and give them some comfortability better than the average black person, that he's going to stand up and fight, and to protect white people's causes. I was just watching yesterday on YouTube. There's a Caucasian gentleman who goes around to different parts of the U.S. and he interviews different religious and racial groups. And I was watching, he went to Iraqi community in Michigan, where one of them is a police officer, and he said America is the best country in the world. And he said that, what's going on with the police, what people hating police, this is wrong. Why people are hating the police? You need the police. But he's not looking at it, this Iraqi, it's not looking at it as a point from a black person who we are being brutalized, being killed by the police. Iraqis not being killed by police in America. So when he said that, hey man, no man, we need the police, he's proud to be police, there's no country greater than the world, the white guy interviewing him said that's not true. He said there's no place nowhere better than America. The white guy interviewing said no, Switzerland is better than the US. Huh? The white guy who said, what are you talking about? No, America is not the best country. There's some European countries better than the US. And he said Switzerland. This Iraqi turns around and say, no, America's better than those countries. Why? Because the government understood when they let these immigrants in, they're going to be what? Subordinates. They're going to be submissive to them. They're going to be submissive to the white structure. They're going to thank them and give them some stability better than the average black person, and that he's always going to defend the government. Even though the U.S. government are the same people who destroyed Iraq, his country. White people are smart. The white man, he's smart. White people are smart. I give it to them, man. The white man, he's smart. I'll sit back and just read him and learn from him by his action. White man is smart. So he gives this Iraqi a level better than our lifestyle, a standard of living that's better than the average black person. He's ready now to die for the government. This guy's saying the police is the best. He's a police himself. You see, he got his bachelor and his master's degree. He works for the police force. And the white guy interviewing said, he found it very hard, every state he'd been to doing interviews, that there's no police who wants to do interviews on screen. He said there's nowhere he could find. He said, you're the first one. Right? And the Iraqi is saying, yeah, because, people were scared and this and that. He said, no, I love America. America's the best country. That's right. You study them that's right, Hanif. You study them to understand the reality. So, while American government is bringing in immigrants, they're bringing in people who's going to be submissive to white supremacy, going to love them. Even though the example of the Iraqi guy, America destroyed Iraq. America destroyed Iraq in 2 wars. Desert Storm and after 9/11. America destroyed Iraq. Over oil, over money. Millions of people died in Iraq. Matter of fact, U.S. government was experimenting with weapons, nuclear weapons. Chemical weapons on the Iraqi peoples. And this guy turned around and said he loved America. And all the other Iraqis with him. He probably is from the Shi'i, maybe. Allahu Alam. Right? Maybe he's from the Shi'i. Right? Because this is, right? Some descriptions of the Shi'i. But he didn't appear to me to be Shi'i. He appeared to me from the Sunni. So American government knows who are the people they're bringing in as immigrants, people who are going to be submissive and push white supremacy. They're going to be their subordinates. That's who they're going to be. Black people, if we don't have that reconstruction in the mind and come together, oh man, we're going to have it real hard in this country. Because when you see now, like on TV, look at George Floyd case, right? That white police officer, Chavik, right? I forgot his name. Darren Chavik, I forgot his name. Right? I believe it's his name. Right? When you see this white police officer killing George Floyd, in the few years, you're gonna see people like that Iraqi police, the one killing black people who shooting them down. You're gonna see the immigrants they bring it in to be the subordinates for white supremacy, and they're gonna give them a step in the class above black people's. They're going to give them a status above black peoples in America. You're going to find they're going to be the people, the oppressor who's shooting you. They're going to be the ones in the police uniform shooting you down. They're already the people in your neighborhoods who got the businesses selling the poison, the drugs, the alcohol, the liquor, the lottery, the pork. They're the ones selling that stuff already in the hood in the black community. So they're giving them a status above black people. For black people, you don't wake up. We don't have that reconstruction. What's going on? We're going to be a lost peoples. You're going to be socially lost, morally lost, spiritually lost. Matter of fact, you're going to say, well, Islam this, Islam that, Islam this. I'm telling you, you're going to be in such a predicament. Some Muslim in a third world country, full of poverty, going to have more spirituality than you in America. Put it like this. Because the effects of white supremacy, the effects of systemic racism is going to destroy you spiritually, morally, financially. It's going to destroy you. We're seeing right now in our community the effects of systemic racism, the effects of white supremacy, but we don't recognize it. Well, I don't want to marry this black woman. Black women are like this. They don't want to listen. They're feminists. Yeah, that's the effects of white supremacy. We already see this going on in the community, but you can't recognize it. Because you're politically blind. You can't recognize it. Where it comes from and where it stems. Don't see it. We don't see where it comes from. Even the black women who follow feminists, those black women, they don't know. What's that woman name? Staten. That white woman. I think her name is something Staten. She said it's better for a black woman to be slave of a slave of an educated white man than being with a black man. This is the mother of feminist movement in America. Gloria Staten. Thank you. I think Staten. Gloria Staten. That's what she said. Stanton. Okay. Stanton. That is the mother of feminists in America. She said it's better for a black woman to be the slave of a white educated slave master than be married to the black man. Matter of fact, when it was writing things pertaining to slavery and giving black people rights, she was telling the government then, how are you going to deal with the nigger before you deal with the own white woman giving her rights? Even though the white man understood without writing in his constitution that the white woman have rights because the man have to take care of her. So all the black women who's following this feminist stuff, the root of it is white supremacy. Right? So if we don't have that reconstruction, that's right, it is the branch of white supremacy. If we don't have that reconstruction in the black community, we're going to be lost. And somebody else, another group of black people also have fault. I want to mention that before I leave. Another group of black people have fault. That's the black conscious community. Oh, they're at fault. Because the black conscious community, they haven't given us a new Malcolm or Martin. Nowhere. The conscious community, those communities that's about activism, they haven't given us anything. Why? They stuck in nostalgia of the civil rights movement. Well, this is going to be common sense. This is common sense, right? You study psychology, right? If you study psychology, this should be common sense, right? Psychology. If you keep on doing something the same way and you're getting the same results and you keep on doing it again, that means there's something clinically wrong with you. So if you stuck in nostalgia of the black movements in the past that the government destroyed, meaning that their templates are no longer any effective for right now. And if you stuck in nostalgia, stuck on Martin Luther King Jr., stuck on Malcolm X, stuck on the nostalgia, I said, not learning their philosophy, but in the nostalgia, and you're not doing nothing inside the community, then you are also a part of the problem. You're also part of the problem, because even the black conscious movement and the black activists, they're stuck in nostalgia. They stuck on following templates that the government already understands and already destroyed. So you're going to follow nostalgia, meaning the templates of groups that were destroyed, meaning that you're going to end up with no results also. You're going to end up in the same predicament that these people ended up in. If you study it for learning their philosophy, yes, that's no problem. But we have in the black conscious community where it's just commercialized. It's commercial. It's commercialized. You want to know how far gone that we are? I was thinking yesterday, and I was reflecting on Harlem, right? Because my family live in Harlem, right? I was reflecting on Harlem. I was watching something on YouTube showing Harlem, right? It was a sister, I think Lebanese sister, talking about the history of Harlem. And I was like surprised because Arabs, they're ethnocentric. They know nothing about anybody else's culture. But it was like a white Lebanese woman or Yemeni woman. She was talking about the history of black Harlem, right? The history. And a lot of things she was mentioning, I was surprised that she knew. Even certain little small details I didn't even know, right? So I was listening. And I was thinking about Harlem, Renaissance arts, black literature, arts, things like this, black music. And she mentioned some of the things that came out of the Harlem Renaissance, right? And I was reflecting. I said, black people, we're so gone that we're so culturally destructive for each other to self-hate. If, for example, if you listen to country music, and country music, white boy, he's talking about some love stuff with the white girl, he's in love, and talking about his pickup truck, and, his hat or his boots, Then some country music, they talking about black people calling them niggas. I heard somebody play some country music talking about niggas and stuff, If you listen to some other culture music from Africa, they talk about love and cultural things. If you listen to the hip hop, it's black people talking about killing each other, right? And I remember I was watching that. I had a little flashback watching some rappers who was on Congress, and they were saying, hey, why you don't change the rap music, right? Because inside rap music, it has a very destructive message. And I said to myself, if the individual wants to change the destructiveness of the rap music, it's not by you singing about something different, it's by you culturally, morally, spiritually having a reconnection with yourself. It has to be moral, the morals of black people's culture. We need a whole new restructuring. If you have a new restructuring of our outlook, our psyche, the things that make us destructive and have a good understanding, that will automatically change the music, because rap music is just us talking about our experience. It's just a gateway into our psyche, and when you look into people from the streets or black people's experience, the reality of what happened when civil rights movement was destroyed and dope and drugs were put in our community. It reflected our experience. So that's inwardly thing. And why we need to have a reconstruction, the black people, we need to have a reconstruction all together in every aspect, because when you listen to black music, it's showing the reality of what black people think about themselves. It's giving us the gateway into what black people think about themselves. White people are not singing stuff like that in country music. Shoot, heavy metal music, they're not even talking about killing other white people. They talk about worshiping the shaitan. Not even talking about killing white people. They're talking about worshiping the shaitan. Country music, they ain't talking about killing other white peoples. Huh? Talking about his boots, talking about some clan stuff, clan culture. But hip hop music is a gateway into our psyche, and our experience is destructive. Can't make the rapper change the music, rap about different things. You must have a reconstruction of the whole moral psych system of the black person, the black community. If there's no reconstruction, and that's in that aspect of what I said, it's not even a high aspect, because music is not like a high aspect. It's not the final goal where the black man is trying to go. It's just a little reflection into our psyche and our experience. But that's not the main goal. But it's also a gateway, or is also a way to look and see the condition of black peoples. Now, how can we have some reconstruction, or what needs to be taught, and who needs to be taught, and where we should be talking about these things at, right? What we need to talk about, what we need to reconstruct, how should we meet, where we should meet, who should be the peoples. I think that black peoples, we first need to have an understanding of where we're coming from. If we don't make change, where we're going, and how that will affect the next generation of our peoples. And we need to talk about what can be some of the solutions. Number one, black Americans, black people, our culture, we have a very awkward culture. We don't have anything that really connect us except for our black skin. And that could be even debated, because black people are racially mixed people. Black Americans are racially mixed people. That's all you gotta do is look at me. We are racially mixed people, not by choice. All right? So we're racially mixed. So we have to have some type of connection. Spanish people connect because they speak Spanish. Right? Most of them have the same religious beliefs. Arabs have the same language. Majority of them have the same religious beliefs. Their language connect to them, right? Asian or Chinese are connected through their language and religion, but mostly their language connects them, right? So black American, we don't have a language. We speak the language of our conquerors. Black people, we don't have a particular religion. Black people, we do not have a particular religion, because the religion, even when we look at Christianity, is being practiced by Christians, black Christians, from a white aspect, a white European centric aspect. They believe in a white Jesus, who's a white man, and they worshiping him. So we're not connected on religion. We have Muslims, you have black Jews, you have Christians, you have people who are agnostic, black people who are atheists, black people who believe in traditional African religion. So we're not united by religion, black peoples in America. We're not united by a language. We don't speak Spanish. We don't speak Yoruba. We don't speak Hausa. We don't speak Swahili. We speak the language of our slave masters. We're not united by our religion, because we have different religions as black peoples, right? And even Christians have different groups. Baptist, Presbyterian, Pentecostal, they have different groups. Catholics, Jehovah's Witness, they have different groups. We have different beliefs. different organization. So we can't say religion now. We're not united by religion. We're not united by our being even black or African. Because some are going to say, well, some of black people in America, we have Native American, which could be true. So we're going to have to sit down at the table and say, hey, maybe we don't have that in common with each other. We don't have that religious thing in common with each other. Everybody has their own religion. Maybe we don't have our own language. That's not uniting us. But we are damn hell all in the same situation. We all are facing annihilation. We have to sit down and recognize that. Because if you're going to look for religion to unite us, that's not going to work. If we want to look for religion to unite black people in America, that is not going to work. And to note, white men have different beliefs, but they all united. I don't care what is their religion affiliation. They all are united. They're all united. Black people financial status. Our financial status varies, but the mass majority of us, we're not equivalent to what the average white person, we don't have access to wealth like the average white person. So we have to sit down and look what's going to unite us. It's not going to be language. We don't have a particular language as black people. It's not going to be religion because we all have a different religion. And if we are looking for religion to bring us together, that will never happen. So it can't be religion. Our blackness or who we are, we're going to debate and argue about that. There's even debate online right now. You look at social media, a group of blacks saying, well, we're not really African, we're Native Americans. Well, nigga, you ain't getting none of that Native American benefits. You pay taxes, Negro. You don't live on no reservation. You don't got access to your own land by reservation. You still getting shoot down by police. You still get incarcerated by police. You still got the same sickness that black people have. Obesity, diabetic, high blood pressure. So, Negro, but we're not going to unite on that. We're not going to agree on that. So that's not going to unite us, right? Some black people are going to say, well, I'm mixed with whites. Unfortunately, there's many black people in America historically mixed with crackers, mixed with the white folks. Just look at myself. Right? But we're not white. You have some blacks who want to be white. So that's not going to unite us. We have to unite on our unique situation. We're going to have to unite on our unique situation. And I mentioned in previous video, most black peoples, just by me looking at my family tree, a lot of black peoples in America, a lot of us are related to each other. Just we're lazy and don't do the homework. We're lazy and don't do the homework. Each person has 4 grandparents. Each of us have 4 grandparents. Two parents, 2 grandparents on our father's side, and 2 grandparents on our mother's side. It's 4. Those grandparents of ours, their parents, that's another 2 peoples. That's 8 peoples. Right? If you look at the man who our fathers are, our grandfathers are, who his parents are. Our grandmother on our father and mother side, who her parents are. I'm telling you, if black people in America look in their family roots, you're going to find a lot of us, we're related, we are kith and kin. That's something that we could unite on as black people having in common. Right? But religion, money, skin color, language, it's not going to unite us because black people have different religion. We don't have any special language that we speak. We speak the language of our oppressors, English language. So we're going to have to unite on our unique situation that we're in America. And sit down and say that the black community needs a reconstruction of mental, morally, and spiritually. We need to learn how to work together as a group of peoples. And if we continuously depend on the system, the government, to change these conditions, he will never do it because he set the system in this way to get the results that we are facing. And he's never going to change that. Only thing he's going to change is his tactics, but it's always going to be the same results. Now, what are some of the things that we need to reconstruct in the black community? The first thing they need to reconstruct is moral. We're killing each other. We're killing. In New York City, where I live, we have two type of noise coming from the black community right now. You have one segment that's saying that, hey man, we need to end the systemic racism, especially when it comes to policing black people. We are over policed. And then we are the minority in New York, but we're the majority in the prison system in New York. So some people want to defund police, put those monies, that money or those monies into something else that's going to deal with social issues for blacks. While black people are calling for this, inside the hoods in the black community, Negroes are killing each other, shooting each other up, shooting up mothers, shooting up children walking down the street. Then you got another aspect of the black community saying, hey man, they're calling police. They're saying there's not enough police on the streets. So you got these two aspects, talking right here in New York and many black hoods across America. It is the same thing. One group talk about defund police and the social issues, which they are correct. Then those black people live in the community, they're being what? They're being brutalized by the same black people in the community. A lot of crime. And culturally, some black people accept this. And crime in the black community been here for a long time, and is not by accident. It's by design. And unfortunately, psychologically, when you live in those type of communities, that has no economical growth for you, that you don't have no access to wealth, where the government say they don't have no money to help you or put you out the situation, but they have enough money to bring in immigrants in your community, own liquor stores on the corner in your block. I don't want to get off topic. So in the black community, got those two aspects. One group is talking about defund the police, end systemic racism, end police brutality, stop throwing us as black, who are the minority, to be the majority in prison. And then some in the same black communities, like here in New York, black people talking about, hey, we need more police because Negroes are acting stupid. Black people are shooting each other up. Black people were robbing. It's our kids. It's our kids. Yes, it has something to do with social issues, but in reality, the truth is, we got to police ourselves. It's a moral issue. It's an economical issue, and it's a moral issue. Now, you're looking for the police. Now, both groups in this scenario, the ones who want to defund the police and let them put the money into other social issues that help the black community, and the other black people saying, well, hey, look, man, these guys robbing my house. He's shooting me. I can't go outside my house. Both sides are looking for the government for help. In reality, the people to fix this problem are us. It's just we have no code of ethics as blacks, and we don't want the reconstruction. We don't want reconstruction. If there's reconstruction, then we're going to focus on why are the black youths or people shooting up in the streets. We're going to deal with those issues, where we don't have to ask the government for anything, for help. That's what we need. That's what the reconstruction need to be. It can't be reconstruction. And morally, we're destroying each other. So there needs to be some type of sit down. What will cause the common sense now will tell us. Common sense now, psychology, psych. It will tell us, well, let's look for the cause of this behavior. And if we're going to look for the cause of this behavior in the community, we're going to turn around and say, okay, single female household, no men, no fathers in the house. no access to wealth, no decent education, no access to a job. Okay, so hey, let's start talking about economics. Let's talking about, hey man, women need to be married to men. Men and women need to be having kids while they're married. Stop having babies with all these different women you're not married to. And if people who are married, find a way for them to keep and stay married. And other things along with that. So the reconstruction for blacks, it has to extend to other things. What we're going to talk about: marital issues, family issues, economic issues. So where are we going to learn these things? And that's what I wanted to conclude to now, inshallah. Where are we going to learn these things? Well, you should be getting them in home. If you're not getting them in home, should be getting it in school. If you're not getting it in home and you're not getting it in school, the next third place you should be getting it from is the church, religious places, the masjid, the religious places. If you're not getting it in the church, you're not getting it in the masjid, you're not getting it in the religious aspect, then you're going to get it nowhere. So the first place that we should be getting from is home, and in community centers, and in school. It's the first place where the reconstruction, the thinking, and the think tanks, and the sitting down and the discussions need to come from. And you need to do it as a together as a group, collaterally. In a group. We have to collaborate with each other. Can't be on the individual level. I just sit in my house and read a book about motivation, systemic racism, economics. No, you need to do it as a group. Then start holding people in the group accountable. What it means by holding accountable. Then when we start discussing these things and we want to make the change, then we could sort of turn around and say, let's now from this group expand it. Expand it where? To another neighborhood. Expand it where? Expand it maybe using a community center or a religious place doing it. Expand it in the schools. Or you was doing it at home. Expanded it into the religious centers. If you were doing a religious center, expanding it into the school. Or you go into the schools after that. You go to the youth programs after that. And then it expand from there and people get organized, and then it goes to the politics next. People will the politics. You expand it to there. Talk about black people being over police and people shooting up police. Then it means that black people, we need to be the police. That's what it means. But we need to organize from somewhere. You can't be the police, especially if the police is all white and racist and they have those jobs locked down. You going as an individual or one organization, you're not going to get a lot of results. But if you go there as a whole community now, all understanding, everybody's with everybody. Religious peoples are with you. The religious places are with the peoples. The schools are with the peoples. Morally and spiritually, the peoples in the community are with it. Must be a reconstruction. If those reconstructions don't come, then it's going to be the cycle, a recycling of the same problems. Not even a cycle, a recycling of the same problems. You know, when they recycle things, you ever see them how they recycle things? They take one thing, right? It may be this bottle, right? They take this bottle, recycle it, and make it to like something like this. I don't know, you know? This like pleather, right? They recycle something to make something else, right? So all they're gonna do is, if you don't fix the problem, it's gonna be recycled. The same problem come in different forms. Same problem come in different forms. Same problems, same results. Same problems, same results, meaning the same problems. You get the same problems, same results. Same problems, you have the same problems, right? Then this problem, it goes away, they recycle it, comes back to something else. What it was when I was a kid. So I'm gonna think of that, right? Oh, take the black man out the home. Woman raising single kids. The kids have no father figure, less income, less money, right? They talk about, oh, let's bring some social issues. Let's fix this. Let's fix this. Let's fix the symptoms of the single female household, right? Don't fix the problem. Let's deal with the symptoms, right? Then they take that situation, recycle it now. The single female house would never fix it. They recycle it, right? How they recycle it, right? And bring it back a new problem, right? They're going to recycle that. How they recycling it now? Okay, LBGQT. Oh, that's how they recycle the single female household now. They're recycling that. They're not giving you the solution. They're just recycling that, giving you something new. Think is a solution. LBGQT. And you're gonna have the same, maybe worse results. At least the woman in the single female household for the black community, at least she was producing children. She was having children, even though they causing a lot of problems in the hood. The white man turn around. Let's recycle that now. Let's act like we're gonna fix that. Let's bring something new. LBGQT. So that single mom was having all them baby kids. Well, the single mom no more having baby kids with the LBGQT. She not having kids at all because she ain't dealing with men. She dealing with women. The black man, let's recycle that. They want to kick them out the home and want him in the home. They recycle that. Took his kids, recycle that. Give him LBGQT. He ain't gonna be having no more babies. Why? Because he's gay now. He ain't gonna have no babies. He's gay. He ain't gonna be having. So white supremacy, whatever they give you, Democrats give you, white racists give you, is gonna be the same problem. Same problem. That's recycling the problems now. They come in different forms. You get the same results. More dysfunction. More dysfunction. While black people hang out, unfortunately, black people in America, they don't want to fix these issues. They don't want to talk about these issues. They want to hide behind religion all day. They want to hide in the church all day. They want to hide in the mosque. They want to hide in the masjid. And they don't want to talk about and fix these issues. They want to hide behind religion. And these are going to be the same people who hiding behind religion. Gonna be their kids. Sooner or later, that stuff gonna be knocking at their door. They can be the people complaining about what's going on. Let's pray more. But they don't want the people to go out in the battlefield. Meaning they're not the people who want to go and make the change. They don't want the people. They're the people that just want to hide behind religion, but they don't want to go out in the battlefield. They don't want to put in no work, and they don't want to die. They don't want to get out of their comfort zone. So what happened to people who don't want to come out their comfort zone and don't want to go do the work, put the work in? Well, when your enemies come, you be the first people to die. And when these people recycle those problems and come in new forms, well, you're going to be the first victim. Your children are going to be the first victim. And you're going to want to talk about, hey, man, let's go somewhere else, another community, other peoples. And those communities that the U.S. government are bringing in, they don't want you. They don't want you. Matter of fact, the government warned them of you Negroes. Stay away from the black folks. They don't want you. And you already see that already when they take sides with the white racists. You see that already when they don't want you to marry their women. You see it already. But you are still in denial. You don't know. While your people's situation get worse and you keep on hiding behind religion. You won't be able to hide behind religion too long. Just what happened for the Muslims. Just what happened to the Christians in the black church in the black neighborhoods. You see it. They got all the church in the liquor stores. Sooner or later, it's gonna be the same thing. It's gonna be a lot of churches, liquor stores, and masajids. That's what it's gonna be. Liquor store, churches, masajid, poverty, and drugs. That's what it's gonna be. You can keep on hiding behind religion and don't want to make no change. And then when those problems come, they're gonna be coming to your front door. What are you going to do? You're going to go in the masjid and lock the door and hide? Huh? Or when it comes to your door, you're going to go to the police and ask them to come fix the problem? Police are going to give you the serious face, listen to you, take notes like he's going to do his job. Police ain't going to do nothing because it's the system working. So them brothers who running, them black brothers, y'all running, trying to use Islam as an excuse not to do nothing. Soon, man, that stuff is already, not sooner or later, that stuff already at the door in your communities already. All you got to do is, on Facebook, just add them brothers and sisters from Philly. That's all you got to do. Add all them Muslims from Germantown, Masjid, just add them to your Facebook page. And you can see them women, you can see their stories. Hijab, profile, niqab, and their stories pop up. They in the club, dancing, naked. No hijab on, but they profile picture, they full black niqab, but all her story pictures popping up, she's butt naked, no hijab. in the club, dancing with dudes, showing everybody her body, talking about her gay children, talking about her lesbian daughter, talking about her homosexual son, while the mom talking about Islam and Salafiyya. That stuff already in your community. Keep on playing, keep on hiding, keep on denial. Keep on being denial, and then nobody gonna come overseas and just free you, come and save your problem. They're gonna say, "Hey, man, we gave you the solution. Here, Islam. This is what you gotta do. You gotta do some work. Oh, you don't want to do it? And they're gonna tell you. Well, they're gonna tell you in a nice way in Arabic, you know. Well, you don't do this. This is the things you see going on as a results from you not being men. That's what they're gonna say in a nice way. It's not you because you don't want to be believing men. That's what gonna tell you something real nice in Arabic. You know, but behind closed door, or you're like, hey man, you guys got to step up. You know, we're gonna give you nice, simple answers. No, you have to be men. Be men means you gotta step up and you gotta put in some work. If you gonna put in no work, you ain't gonna get no results. That's why we see the Salafi community right there in Philadelphia. It looks crazy, Philly. That's because people don't want to put in no work, and people still hiding with religion, using religion to hide in religion because they don't want to go out there in the community and put it in any real work. Put in no work. And only care about the black issues and fixing them when that stuff coming knocking at their door and when it be too late most of the cases. Do something before it happens. I'm out of here. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك واشهد ان لا اله الا انت استغفرك واتوب اليك.